History remembers the victors, the conquerors, and the grand empires that shaped our maps. But history often forgets the invisible force that actually built them and eventually destroyed them. We often imagine the Silk Road as a simple, romantic path for spices and silk. But in reality, it was a 600-mile battlefield of power, complex taxes, and absolute control. Whoever owned the road owned the world. But today, in 2026, a new kind of empire has emerged. This time, the road they control isn't made of stone or desert sand, it's made of the very currency in your pocket. Imagine for a second that you've worked your entire life, sacrificing your time and health to save every penny for a secure future. You look at your bank balance and feel safe. But then, 10 years later, you walk into a store and realize that the money you work so hard for can only buy half of what it used to. No one broke into your house. No one stole your wallet. No laws were changed to take your property. Yet, half of your life's work has vanished into thin air. This is the silent thief, known as inflation. Most people think inflation is just prices going up, but that's a dangerous misunderstanding. Inflation is a calculated attack on your personal sovereignty. Today, at Yieldverse, we are going to unmask this invisible predator and show you how the game is rigged. To understand our current crisis, we have to look at what money actually is. Money is supposed to be a store of value, a battery that holds the energy of your labor so you can use it later. But what happens when that battery has a massive leak? In 1920, $1 could buy you a grand feast at a restaurant. Today, that same dollar might not even buy you a pack of gum. Popular finance channels often teach us how to save and budget. But here is the hard truth. Is saving enough in a dying system? If your bank gives you a measly 2% interest while the real-world inflation is sitting at 5% or 10%, you aren't saving. You are becoming significantly poorer every single year. In this environment, sitting on cash isn't playing it safe. It is a slow-motion bankruptcy that you are choosing to participate in. But why does this happen? Is it just bad luck? To understand the why, we have to look at why governments and modern empires actually love inflation. Let's go back to the days of the Silk Road. If an emperor wanted to fund a massive war or build a golden palace, he had to physically take gold from his people through direct taxes. This was loud, it was obvious, and it often led to bloody revolts and the overthrowing of kings. However, in the modern world, governments have discovered a much more elegant and quiet way to tax you without you ever noticing. The printing press. When a government or a central bank prints more money to pay off its debts or fund new projects, the total supply of money in the system increases. Think of it like a pizza. If you have one pizza and you cut it into 4 slices, each slice is large and filling. But if the government decides to cut that same pizza into 100 slices, you still have the same amount of pizza, but your individual slice is now just a tiny crumb. By printing money, the state spends wealth it hasn't earned, by devaluing the wealth you've already worked for. This is the ultimate choke point. Control is no longer about swords, fortresses, or mountain passes. It's about who controls the digital printer of the central bank. This loss of value leads directly to a loss of sovereignty. Financial sovereignty means having total control over your own labor and the rewards that come with it. But inflation strips that control away, bit by bit. It forces you into a state of constant anxiety. It stops you from thinking long-term, because how can you plan for 20 years from now if you don't know what your money will be worth in 2? It keeps you on a hamster wheel, working harder, longer hours, and taking more stress just to stay in the same financial position you were in last year. When a population is worried about basic survival and keeping up, they are much easier to control. They don't have the time or energy to question the system. This is how modern empires enslave people without using a single bullet or a single chain. So, the question is, how do you fight back? How do you stay sovereign in a system specifically designed to drain your energy? The only way out of this trap is to move your energy out of leaking currencies and into hard assets. These are things that a government cannot simply print into existence with a keystroke. Throughout history, this has meant owning physical gold, productive land, or businesses that provide real value. In the digital age, it now includes digital scarcity assets like Bitcoin that have a fixed supply. These assets act as a shield against the invisible thief. They allow you to step off the hamster wheel and protect the value of your time. History has shown us time and again that those who blindly trust the system always end up paying the highest price. The Silk Road taught us that those who control the roots control the wealth. Today, the root is the monetary system itself. Those who understand the hidden mechanics of power, how risk is managed, and how value is stolen are the ones who will not only survive but thrive in the coming decades. The modern financial system was built to empty your pockets, but your education is your greatest weapon. Understand the risk, protect your labor, and reclaim your future. Your sovereignty is the only thing worth fighting for. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, stay sovereign. Subscribe to Yieldverse to join us as we uncover more hidden truths of our world.